I was 16 when I had my injury, and I'm 24 now. My life has been, I have not stopped ever. I mean, since I woke up, it was therapy after therapy. I've always been active. And I went to different places for rehab. And even now, I come to the wellness center. So I don't remember one single time that I have stopped. I don't think that has happened ever. I don't know.
The law offices of Elia Castranova got me a fair settlement in court when my scalp was injured in a beauty salon accident. He had to fight the insurance company for my compensation.
I've represented numerous clients with head injuries, and they run the gamut from minor head trauma to head injuries which have caused death. The attorney should make sure that he evaluates the case when the client is complaining of headaches, nausea, memory problems, fuzziness. These are all signs of potential head injuries which may not present themselves immediately, but may be over a period of time. I have had clients that have had severe head injuries even though their head did not strike anything in the car. For example, I had a young woman, 45 years old, who was rear-ended, and it was quite an impact. Destroyed the back end of the car, but the occupant compartment where she was sitting was not affected. But because she had these high velocity forward and backward movement of the head, the brain itself hits the inside of the skull. They call it a contre-coup type of concussion. When the brain does this, it causes trauma to the brain. It may be minor, it may be major. You could even have bleeding inside the brain, or microscopic tearing of tissues, or major tearing of tissues. The hospital may do a CAT scan, a CT scan, which doesn't show a fracture of the skull or bleeding, but it's not meant to show damage to the tissues in and of themselves when there's no bleeding. So what we do is we have an MRI of the brain, and that tends to show that there are problems there. Even if the MRI is negative, very often there is trauma, which the only way we can test is through actual testing. We have a neuropsychologist who does a battery of tests, and he determines if there are cognitive problems with a person perceiving or reacting to the world that they didn't have before that, and they can test this very definitively.